One of my favorite movies, as I may have mentioned before, is called Lost Horizon. You remember, anybody, you remember that? Oh, it's one of my favorite, oh, good. I am so happy you guys know what I'm talking about. It came out in 1937, a classic, directed by Frank Capra. It's hard to find a good copy nowadays, but if you want to watch if those of you who have not watched it, you can get it on YouTube. There's a few little pieces missing here and there. Definitely the film is worth watching. The story takes place in March of 1935, where there are the last 5 Americans to escape the Chinese city of Buskal after the beginning of the revolution. And these 5 Americans take the last plane out. However, the plane has been hijacked and crashes into a remote area in the Tibetan mountains. And so now they're hip deep into snow, and they have no further hope of surviving. And they look around and they're thinking, we're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it. And they look around, and all of a sudden, people are coming out of nowhere to rescue them. There's approximately 50 rescuers. Where did these people come from? Let me tell you something. Little did they know that these travelers, that these lost travelers, they are being led by grace to the hidden realm of Shangri-La, the land of eternal contentment, heaven on earth, the fountain of youth. These travelers have no idea where they're going. They just feel led to follow their rescuers. And there's this one scene that I want to tell you about. Each one of them, as they're climbing on the treacherous mountainside, alongside this cliff, they are tied to each other with a very strong rope. Very strong, very thick. The rope is their lifeline. If one of them slips, the strength of all of them together can save the one. They help each other through the hazardous conditions to get to Shangri-La, heaven on earth, the eternal contentment. Not one of them stands alone. They are in this together. They didn't ask, hey, who'd you vote for? Did you vote for Trump? I am so not going to be tethered to you, let me tell you that. Did you vote for Kamala? Forget it. I'm going to die on this cliff. I'm not going to be associated with you. No, we find that comical, don't we? But this is what we do on planet Earth. This is what we've been doing. My friends, we are tethered. We're tethered together. Each one of us is connected. We're connected to each other by God's love. And not one of us stands alone. Spiritual masters, gurus, sages, enlightened teachers have all agreed the toughest school in the universe is planet Earth. Planet Earth is the master class, and you agreed to sign up for it. I'm just saying. And there are, every once in a while, little unexpected pop quizzes that are in this master class, and they're thrown our way from time to time. For me, it was the unexpected passing of my mom. That was my October surprise. So when the election happened, for me, it was like, what? Where am I? What's going on? It didn't mean anything to me. You see things differently when your whole world has dramatically shifted. For many in this room, your pop quiz was the election. It wasn't what you wanted. Therefore, I want you to join me today in zooming out from the soul's perspective, not the worldly perspective, the soul's perspective. And from the soul's perspective, we have all agreed to be on planet Earth at this time in our history, right? Would you not agree with that? We're all here together, and your mission is done when you're not here, just so you know. We're all in this for a reason, tethered together by consciousness. And as astrologers will tell you, we are here during the dawning of the Aquarian age, and you and I are here to help usher it in. Right now, we're going through some labor pains. You can feel it, right? It's an interesting time to be on planet Earth, but we agreed to it. We see it. There's a lot of contentious energy. People are arguing and fighting about this and that. They don't have their values agree, blah, 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 blah. And remember, your most valued asset in the third dimensional outer world is your attention. There is a war for your attention on doom and gloom. So the bottom line, if we're willing to give over our attention to doom and gloom, then we are creating that reality for ourselves. Now zoom out again, because I want you to hear the truth. And there will be a point in our history, there will be a point maybe in our near future, when you see how tethered we are, and that where we are fighting in resistance will just become plain old boring to us. It just will. Have someone like me in your family pass away and you go, yeah, I don't need to be attached to this. It's plain old boring. And we will see that everyone is just an actor on the global stage, where we realize that it is just a waste of time to be in resistance. And therefore, what if we just surrendered it all to Spirit? What if we were to just go, well, maybe God knows what's best, where we just let go. No longer do we want others to comply with me. You got to think like me. You got to feel like me. You got to do things like me. Me. It's all about me. Enough about me. What do you guys think about me? So truly, the question we must ask ourselves is, why would I disregard kindness? I've seen so much kindness recently. Why would I disregard kindness and love if others don't abide by the way I think? My friends, we need each other. Bottom line, we need each other. We are tethered to each other. We need each other's talents and differences. We need each other's perspectives and ideas. We need unity. We need each other's kindness and generosity. We need to remember that the one thing that we all share, the one thing that we all have in common is at the core of every human being. The real truth of who we are is love. That's it. As a minister friend of mine says, there's just God, there's just love, get over it. That's it. But not everybody remembers that. The purpose of this time, this Aquarian age, that we have all agreed to, is to come into a higher, greater understanding of the fifth dimension of pure being, pure love. Love is extraordinarily powerful. It is at the core of everything in the universe. So this birthing part of this Aquarian age is coming to life, and if you let it, it will also be a new experience of yourself. How you are during these labor pains is God's free gift to you, free will choice. You have free will choice. So you are a self-contained unit of energy. How you use that energy is your free will choice. That's God's gift. And we can see this with the election that just took place. Many people were very upset. Many people were very happy. Free will choice. We are all entitled to our feelings. But to set up camp in the narrative of our feelings, that is the third dimensional human mode. Remember, we're both human and divine. And keep in mind that in your human mode, your most valued asset is your attention. The outer world of doom and gloom would love to feed you more doom and gloom, completely forgetting who was in charge. So who's in charge? Higher power, God, the universe. Complete. And when we subscribe to doom and gloom, we completely forgetting to have faith in the universe that is mightier than any condition and greater than any circumstance. And because of free will choice, we could weave a narrative, possibly, this is happening, or that's happening, or ain't it awful? And these narratives give expression to worry, right? To concern, to fears, to indignation. And some of you may have just gone there in your mind just now, arguing for your limitations. Yeah, but you don't understand. You don't understand. So do me a favor. Let's zoom back out again. Zoom back out to the soul's perspective. And you can see that they are lower frequencies of the physical universe by free will choice. Many years ago, I had my church in Denver, and on this one particular day, I was having a most awful day. I entertained doom and gloom and anger and hurt and blah, 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 feeding the narrative in my head, just feeding it, blaming people, blaming this person, that person for my unhappiness, my hurt, my anger. Now remember, the job of the universe is to match your frequency, right? Friends, I want you to hear this one thing. If you just fell asleep throughout the whole service except for this one thing, pay attention. The constant identification with things that you do not want in your life only creates more of the same. Can I get an amen? Amen. Thank you. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Ever have a day where it seems like, and this was that day, it seems like everybody got the memo to treat you badly? Right? You know those days. And not only did they treat you badly, but everything was going wrong. Like maybe the car didn't start, or the air conditioner broke, or whatever. I was having one of those days, and the job of the universe was matching everything that I was entertaining in my mind. Well, on this particular day, I stormed out of the office, and I decided, okay, I'm going to go to the new Whole Foods that was just opened up in downtown Denver. And it seemed like everyone else had that same idea. The parking lot was full. I'm driving around trying to look for my parking place, and I see this one woman who was getting into her car to leave, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to wait. Now, I could not see that there was another tiny smart car. I say smart because I don't know how smart they are, because you can't see them. But this tiny smart car was just right around the corner. I couldn't see this person, also waiting for the space. The lady backs out just as I am getting ready to drive into the parking place. The other car full of bumper stickers that had political statements, whipped in and happily took my parking place. And oh, I had a quick download of great judgment. I didn't agree with their political stickers, and the condition of their car was filthy. And have you ever had a quick download of judgments? Just takes a second, my friends. It just takes a second to download all those verdicts, right? And before I go on, hopefully none of you have ever put me on a pedestal, okay? Well, I leaned on that horn and I used hand gestures. I called out all kinds of obscenities. I was possessed with dark emotions. This is not me. Ask Reverend Beth Ann. Beth Ann, she's known me for over 40-something years. This was not me. This is scary. It's not who I am, but I was possessed. The dark forces can possess you. Now, then this woman quickly got out of her cart to reciprocate my bad behavior. And when she got out of the car, we both realized something. We were both in utter shock. She was a member of my congregation. I was her minister. I was horrified. Talk about instantly being awake from a crazed, insane way of being. I then, just to continue on, there is a happy story to this, the happy ending. I found another parking place. I went into the store to find her, and when I found her, I apologized. I let her know, listen, I've been having a bad day. I projected it all on you. I am so sorry. And she said, oh no, I'm sorry. I'm driving a friend's car. It's not even mine. You see how we do this? All my judgments went away, we remained friends, so thank God. It was a great realization, and I thanked her, even unto this day. Every time I go to Whole Foods, I think of her now. And that was 20, maybe 30-something years ago. But it woke me up. Earlier that day, I was so into my feelings. I was so into doom and gloom. You know, darkness, my old friend. Darkness, anger, hurt, blame. We've all been there. And my friends, listen to this. There is no advantage, absolutely no advantage to anger, hurt, or blame. None. And darkness loves division. It loves it. And it will make you think that everything dark, your anger, your hurt, is permanent. There is no way out of this. That you're alone. That you have no control over the universe. And it will always lead you astray. 100% of the time, it will lead you astray. When was the last time that anger led you toward your highest good? It loves for you to think that you're separated from God, and you're not, but it loves for you to think that you are. Again, Spirit gave you the gift of free will choice. True freedom is freedom of the mind. You can bless or you can be less than your divinity. You can make yourself miserable or you can make yourself happy. You can make yourself angry or you can make yourself loving. That's where the power begins. It's within. Everything is inside of you. So that means that you can take your power back and change the narrative in your head. And now how do you do this? There are two tools There's many tools in unity, but there's two tools that will bring you back into center, that will remind you of who you really are. First, when the narrative in your mind is telling you doom and gloom, that doom and gloom story and how awful it all is, stop and ask yourself, who is telling me this exactly? Who is this voice in my head? And it will normally be a smaller self, an ego self, that really doesn't have that much power. And you know what? As soon as you ask that question, the narrative stops. It just stops. Just a question that diminishes the feeding of that narrative in your mind. Remember, you're not the only one that is in this group consciousness. You are, however, the only one that's managing your own mind. There is no one else. Just asking that one question is like shining a light in the dark space. And then the narrative no longer belongs to you. And once you realize that it no longer belongs to you, the voice in your head has nothing to do with it. And so here's another tool, just one more tool. And that is something that will bring you back to the truth of who you are, and that is act like spirit. Don't act like I did at Whole Foods. Act like spirit. What does spirit act like? Spirit is a giving force. It's a loving force. It's a force of love. So start with small things. Call someone. Tell them you love them. Better yet, be the true spiritual warrior. Call someone you care about that voted opposite that you did. Tell them you love them. Act like spirit, because spirit loves everybody. Whether you agree with others or not, we are all tethered together by God's love. If you act like spirit, you turn the light of God on. You see, it is necessary to project love. It's necessary to project kindness, because planet Earth needs that right now. It needs it to usher in the Aquarian age, the Shangri-La, for us to bring heaven on earth, a place of great contentment. This is the easiest way to get out of self-drama and self-suffering. So how do you also turn the light on in others? Just a simple smile. A simple smile can go a long way. A gesture of kindness. And try doing this, if you will, just do this all day long, and I am telling you, you will become the peace and the love that you want to see in the world. You will have a blissful experience. If that means shutting down the things that bring a negative narrative in your life, just make some self-honoring, self-respect choices. It might mean that there's people in your life that don't support you. That's your choice. My friends, everywhere you go, people are blessed by you. We are tethered together, ushering in the Aquarian age. And God has given the choice to either bless or be less in this master class that we call planet Earth. With that, let us just close our eyes for a moment and take this in. It's a beautiful life, it really is. It is the awakened way to see life in this way, to see people as our brothers and sisters. We are a spiritual family, agreed to come here together for a magical purpose. Take a moment, send each other a blessing of great love, if you will, and also for those online, just send a blessing of great love. We are tethered by love. And for this, we are grateful. And so it is. Amen. Amen. So it is.